Even the cosmos has a conclusion. It can seem as though this world would last forever due to its unmatched vastness and scope. However, at least one model suggests that it actually has a very peculiar fate waiting for it at the end of the line. Welcome to Z. Today, we're addressing the fascinating question, what if we were inhabitants of a black dwarf universe? Do you require answers to the important queries? Are you a fervent inquirer? So why not join Z to see more videos like this one? And ring the bell for more inspiring material. One of the solar system's 8 recognized planets is where we call home. At the lowest estimate, we are one of the Milky Way galaxy's 100 billion stars. According to estimates from NASA, there are over 200 billion galaxies in the entire universe, with the Milky Way being just one average-sized galaxy among them. The observable portion of the universe is 93 billion light-years vast and 13.8 billion years old. The unobservable universe has an infinitely large potential. The entire monster is also growing faster and faster, consuming what appears to be nothingness beyond. It may still pass away, and it probably will. Humanity has debated the ultimate destiny of the universe for millennia, but never more so than in the last few years. The list of possible outcomes is already widely recognized. It's possible that the expansion of our universe reverses, leading to the Big Crunch. It's possible that in the Big Rip, expansion will continue until it can no longer be sustained. Or that the cosmos finally experiences a big freeze, which would fully consume all of the energy present. But with all of those options, it's not like we're always here today and gone tomorrow. If humans were still alive at the end of the world, which is embarrassingly unlikely, then it would happen over billions or possibly trillions of years, grinding to a halt. This wouldn't be the case in some circumstances, such as if this world turned out to be the plaything of a higher power who simply decided to turn it off. It would happen immediately. The end of the universe theory does not, however, now rate particularly highly in terms of what is most plausible. No matter whatever path the cosmos ultimately takes, current science predicts a lengthy and slow death. But in today's film, we're assuming that the Big Crunch won't actually occur. We currently live in a reality where we are either going to the Big Rip or the freeze. The universe merely keeps growing, it doesn't bounce back and contract. And the basic mechanics remain largely the same. We can start by taking a general look at our own sun to get a sense of what will happen next. Since the sun has been happily blazing for roughly 4.6 billion years, the rest of the solar system has gradually developed around it. The outer, gaseous worlds, the innumerable asteroids, the inner, stony planets, and the limitless clouds of cosmic dust. However, we are aware that the sun is likely already past the halfway point of its life in its current state. It is anticipated that it will transform into a red giant in 4 billion years. Rushes outward in a ferocious expansion that will dramatically transform its surroundings, including the Earth, which may perhaps find itself devoured entirely. Even while the sun's shift to the red giant stage will be significant, its tail doesn't end there. On occasion, it appears as though the red giant will be our star's ultimate explosion. However, the sun is actually recreating itself. The conversion of hydrogen into helium in the sun ceases as it transforms into a red giant. As it transitions into a new period, it will initially fuse helium into carbon. The sun will then lose around half of its mass and be propelled into space. However, the other half will continue to exist as a white dwarf. A fiery ball with an amazing density that was roughly the same size as the current Earth or somewhat bigger. From here, the sun won't undergo another significant alteration for a while. All it will be doing in its white dwarf stage is cooling down. But because of the enormous amount of energy it contains, the process of cooling down will take at least a quadrillion years. Many, many times longer than the universe's total age to date. but it will stop releasing visible light after it has cooled to virtually absolute zero. It will cease to be a significant energy producer and be reduced to a flawlessly dark mass floating in space. Our sun, the star that once gave us everything we needed to survive, has now actually reached the end of its time and has changed into a black dwarf. Black dwarfs are speculative star types at the moment because the cosmos hasn't had enough time for any of them to form. However, many low-mass stars, including our sun, are thought to ultimately suffer this destiny, according to experts. Other outcomes, such as merging into a black hole or neutron star, are possible for more massive stars. However, those outcomes are impossible for stars with smaller stellar masses. They are categorized as relics of what they once were when they reached black dwarf. Although they might still exist until the Big Rip or Big Freeze, which would bring the cosmos to an end, their potency has worn away. What would occur if our universe contained black dwarfs? Basically not much at all. If you had a working time machine and shot as far into the future as it is conceivable to travel trillions and trillions of years from now, you might end up in a place where all that is left are black dwarfs and black holes. However, none of these essentially undetectable things are even close to one another any longer due to expansion. One stellar husk is separated from another by millions of light years. The planets that formerly orbited them have long since vanished. The universe's chemical composition has changed, and the likelihood of life is almost likely zero. This is the end of the world more than any other apocalypse scenario. Unless life has found a way, that is. Once more, the era we are imagining is so far in the past from the present that it is virtually unfathomable. Only a small portion of the lifespan of the Earth and the Sun, a few 100,000 years, has been occupied by modern people. In contrast, the Earth and the Sun have only existed for around 1/3 as long as the cosmos as a whole. But compared to anything that survives to the black dwarf age, even all of that everything up to this point fades into infinitesimal insignificance. One of two things must be true if life has survived, which is undoubtedly one of the largest ifs we've ever considered on this channel. Either life has evolved to a completely non-physical state and is no longer dependent on the universe as a host. Alternatively, life may have accessed the multiverse and is now able to observe the future of this world as if from a different realm. What do you think? Could life exist in a universe where the only objects visible were icy, lifeless black dwarfs? Or is this an unavoidable leap into the future? It's undoubtedly one of the worst outcomes that may result from all of this. The sun appears to be eternal in our current and historical understandings. An unbeatable, unflappable source of power. However, the unfortunate fact is that it isn't, and that it too will eventually vanish forever. Between now and then, the sun will swell into a red giant in roughly 4 billion years, which appears to be a much more urgent problem for Earth, at least. This means that in only a little over 1 billion years, our planet will actually get too hot for life to exist there. Our Earth is already doomed to face an enormous battle that lies ahead. Our days are already numbered. Even though it may seem that the only thing to be concerned about at the moment is the approaching red behemoth, that day will undoubtedly come. We can easily lose sight of how short our own lives will ultimately turn out to be in our current state. Not only as a person, not even as a species, but as a whole. Since that is what would happen if we lived in a black dwarf universe, even though we may never be able to see nearly as far into the future ourselves. How do you feel? Do you think we missed anything? Please share your thoughts in the comments, watch more Z videos, and subscribe to receive notifications on our newest posts.